Hello. Thank you so much for joining me here on the mat today. My name is Melody and I am so excited to share this practice with you. Today we are going to be working through a prenatal yoga flow that is going to be suitable for those mamas that are in their second and their third trimester. So in that last half of your pregnancy really. And I'm going to be utilizing some props to help show you some different ways to modify some things as we go. Now I know a lot of prenatal classes that you might go to tend to have you use every single prop in the studio, which is awesome. And I love when we're able to find that support and be able to nurture and use our bodies with just a little bit of extra support or extra prop usage. However, I do know that at home, we don't always have bolsters and blankets and multiple props and multiple things like that. So today I wanted to create and showcase a flow using only 2 blocks. These nice little yoga blocks are super accessible. You can get them almost anywhere, and having 2 of them at home is just a really nice addition to your home yoga space because you can use them in all sorts of ways. So today's prenatal flow for our second and third trimester will be using 2 yoga blocks. So go ahead and grab those and we'll get centered. So for days, just little centering action to get us started on our mat, we are going to come to a hero's pose. So to get to hero's, you might start on your hands and knees. And then we're going to take our heels just a little wider than our hips. We're going to grab 1 or 2 of those blocks, rest it right between your ankles so that we can sit back and up on the blocks. So we want our sits bones right nestled in, nice and supported. We want shoulders over hips and we want our toes pointing to the back of the mat. You might find you need to kind of scoot your calves out of the way. Your thighs may or may not touch, it doesn't really matter. We just want to make sure that we're seated up nice and tall. We're taking this hero's pose today to help us work a little bit of internal rotation of our femurs right into our pelvis. So a lot of our pregnancy we're spent thinking and talking about that external rotation, that widening of the pelvis and the hip to make room in the birth canal, which is incredible. But if perhaps you were like me and you really suffered from some round ligament pain and some SI joint misalignment and dysfunction during your pregnancy, then having this little bit of internal rotation can help alleviate some of that pain and create a little more stability in your SI joint and in your sacrum. So we'll be starting from this hero's posture today. Again, like I said, we want knees one direction, toes in the opposite direction, shoulders stacked over our hips, and our ears pulling up to the ceiling. For just a moment, take your shoulders up, back, and down. Let them soften down your spine. And then if you like, you can close your eyes. We'll find a big inhale through our nose and out our mouth with a cleansing sigh. Take that 2 more times, really dropping and releasing your jaw as you breathe out. Last round. From here, we'll take our right hand to our belly, our left hand to our heart. We'll seal our lips and continue that breath in and out through your nose. You might begin to imagine that breath traveling all the way down your spine to your tail. Maybe imagine that wash of energy wrapping around and surrounding your sweet baby in your belly. Inhale, breath expanding, giving him lots of room, lots of space. And exhale, letting you relax and soften. We'll take a few more rounds of breath just like this. Allowing that breath to slow and deepen. Bringing in all of that beautiful oxygen. Letting go anything we no longer need in this moment. If you happen to feel or notice any flutters or kicks or wriggles from that sweet baby of yours, just take them in. Love them. And continue to imagine that breath of energy wrapping and hugging and nurturing your belly. And we'll take 3 more rounds of breath right here. Each one a little longer than the last. Inhaling and exhaling to your full capacity, though I know that may be a little difficult right now. On our next inhale, we'll sweep our fingertips high to the sky. Exhale, bring palms to touch and thumbs to your sternum. You might take a moment to set an intention or an offering here. It can be personal to yourself or to your baby, or perhaps global or outstretched to your community. When you're ready, release your hands back down to your thighs and let your left ear drop to left shoulder. Just taking a nice deep stretch to the side of that neck. Notice that sensation from behind your ear all the way out to the edge of your shoulder. And gently we'll come up and over to the right, taking the opposite stretch. And we'll come right back to center. Inhale, we're going to sweep those fingers high again. And exhale, bring your left palm down to the mat. Reach your right arm up and over your ear for a big, long side body stretch, creating lots of room in those ribs. I know by the time I made it to my 3rd trimester, all I wanted in life was side body stretches and lateral bends. Just trying to make room. And we'll come back through the middle and head the opposite direction. Right hand down, left arm up and over. Feeling that space in your intercostals and your armpit. Maybe even all the way down to your hip bone. And we'll come back through the center. We're going to take a nice open twist. So the left hand's going to come behind us. Right hand's going to come to right knee. If we can reach the mat, even up on our block, that's great. If you're like me and those arms are a little shorter, just bring the palm of your hand to your sacrum. Think about pressing gently into that space. You can honestly even give yourself a little massage, a little pressure right at your low back. On our next inhale, we'll come back to center, fingertips high, and exhale, reverse. Left hand to left knee, right hand to the mat behind you or to your low spine, elbow pointing backwards. Maybe our chin starts to rotate all the way around, maybe not. And we'll come on back to center and find some key seated cat-cows right here. So hands are going to stay on thighs or knees. Inhale is going to lift your heart, tip your tailbone back and lift your chin. Exhale, curl under. Feel your sits bones move across that block and look down to your belly. Take a few more. Inhale to open your front body. Exhale, open that back body. We'll take 3 more. Last one. From here, we're going to make our way into a tabletop or all fours. We're going to start to utilize those blocks a little more. So because carpal tunnel can be pretty common in pregnancy and postpartum, with all of that relaxin flowing through our joints, we're going to be pretty kind to our wrists today. We're going to set those blocks just underneath our palms and our palms just underneath our shoulders. Knees are under hips. Toes point to the back of the mat, or they can tuck under if you need a little more balance and a little more security. And we're just going to take any kind of movement that feels good right here. So it might feel nice to rock those hips side to side. It might feel nice to draw some circles around with our shoulders. Maybe we can continue that cat-cow action, lifting and lowering our head. Curling and unfurling our spine. Maybe some circles with our rib cage feels really good. But really and truly, there is no wrong answers here. So whatever feels nice in your body right now is totally fine. Even if that's just dangling your head down to release that upper spine. We'll take about 3 more breaths of that really organic movement right here. And we'll come right back to center, to that neutral tabletop. We're going to come to a supported puppy pose. So hands are going to walk forward. They're going to take our blocks with us towards that top edge of the mat. Hips stay right where they are, and our chest starts to sink down. If we need to widen our knees a little bit, we can. Make a little more room for that belly. And if you like, you could grab a blanket or a pillow rested under your forehead, or you could come to either cheek. We'll be right here for 3 more big breaths. This is a nice gentle back bend that we can practice during our pregnancy. We get a little more shoulder opening with our hands up on the blocks, which can feel really nice when all of our weight starts to shift forward. And we're going to lift up easy. We're going to walk palms and blocks back underneath us, underneath our shoulders. Spread those hands wide and tuck your toes and press up and back into that down dog. Just like in puppy, if our feet want to come a little wider or our hands want to come a little wider to make room, feel free. We might need a nice generous bend in our knees right now. Just make sure that you can shake your head yes and no, that we can breathe, and that we can look out between our ankles. Finding a little bit of strength and a little bit of flow here on our inhale. We're going to come forward to the top of the plank, still supported on those blocks, shoulders over wrists. We're going to hold it here for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bring it back to your down dog. We're going to take that again, this time on our breath. So inhale is going to take us forward to plank. Exhale is going to bring us back to that down dog. And your breath can be as quick or as slow as natural to your body here. If you start to feel a little dizzy, slow it down or come down to your knees. Give it 2 more, nice and strong. We're going to take 1 more longer hold in that plank, coming forward. See if we can hold it here for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lower your knees. We'll find a nice wide-legged child's pose. So knees nice and wide, toes are going to touch behind us. We're going to send our tush back to our heels. Let your belly drop down the middle. Palms stay on your blocks as we sink down. If we took an ear earlier in puppy pose, try to take the opposite ear here in child's pose. And again, if we need a little more space, grab an extra blanket or a pillow under your head. And again, we're going to take 3 big breaths. One more. And we're going to come back to that tabletop. Recenter ourselves, shoulders over wrists. And from here, we're going to tuck our right toes, drag them to the back edge of the mat. Press your heel away. Imagine you were trying to pull the mat out from under you. And then nice and easy, just give a little rock back and forth into that calf muscle and into that heel. Notice that nice stretch down the back of your leg from heel to hip. And we'll bring ourselves back to a neutral. Lift that right heel up off the mat and just take a couple ankle circles. And rest that right knee down. Tuck your left toes, drag them back. And then when you're ready, just gentle rocks back and forth, finding that calf stretch. Good. Bring your body back to neutral. Lift your left heel and take a couple ankle circles. And rest your left knee down. Again, we're going to tuck our toes, press up and back into that down dog. And then we're going to look up to our thumbs. We're going to step one foot to the outside of that hand. Step your other foot to the outside of that hand. And double stack your blocks so that you can rest your tail down into a supported malasana. So, with those blocks stacked, our knees wide, we're sitting up kind of like a frog. You can keep your hands resting on your knees, or you can open them wide for some wrist circles. And switch directions. Good. Bring your hands back to your heart. Take a full round of breath. And nice and easy, we're going to bring fingertips down to the mat in front of us. We're going to lift our hips and rotate our toes forward, finding a forward fold. Your hands might come to the floor. We might bring those blocks back underneath our palms to help bring the floor to us. Or you might cross at your elbows for a rag doll, giving yourself a little rock, a little sway right and left if that feels good. Make sure to keep a generous bend in your knees for one more breath. And we're going to release our palms to our blocks and let them assist us in rolling up to standing. When you get to the top, take a couple shoulder rolls. Good. We're going to keep our feet nice and wide as we inhale, fingertips to the ceiling. And exhale, swan dive back into that fold. Inhale, hands on blocks or shins, lift up halfway, flat back. Exhale, soften. Inhale, push through those blocks to standing, fingers high. Exhale, hands to your heart. Take that 2 more times. Inhale, reach it up. Exhale, slow and steady, fold forward, bend those knees. Inhale, lengthen through legs and spine. Exhale, soften. Inhale, push through to standing, reaching long. And exhale, find your way to prayer. Last round, inhale. And exhale. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale, rise up. Exhale to center. Good. Adding on, inhale, we're going to sweep it tall. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. And on our exhale, hands on our blocks, our left foot's going to step all the way back. Bring your left hand back underneath your shoulder with that block. You can set it up on a higher height. And then our right fingertips are going to lift to the sky, taking a nice easy twist. Having this block under left hand is going to help us create a little more space into that twist, so we're not compressing too much at the belly. And if we're feeling okay with balance today, your nose can turn up to that top thumb. From here, we're going to lower this right hand down and we're going to gently walk ourselves around to a wide angle forward fold. So our toes are going to come in maybe at a little pigeon toe to the long edge of our mat. Feet are nice and wide and we can sink down in. Again, maybe hands are at mat, maybe at our ankles, maybe on the blocks, whatever feels good. And on our next inhale, we're gonna lift up halfway, and we're gonna find a wide-legged down dog. So feet stay where they are, palms are gonna walk forward, and then press into the earth to push our hips up and back, just like we do in a downward facing dog. The only difference now is that we are nice and wide, so it might be a shorter stance than we're used to. Let shoulders draw back away from your ears, and again, head could shake yes and no. One more breath right here. And gently bring those palms back underneath you. Use your inhale breath to sweep to standing, arms high. And exhale, hands can come to your heart. From here, our toes are going to turn outward on the diagonal. And again, an inhale is going to sweep those arms up. Exhale, we're going to come into a nice low goddess squat. So knees come wide. Hands might come to your thighs or to your belly. Press those knees out and down. See if we can hold it here for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And we're going to find a flow. So inhale, sweep everything up, knees and hands. Exhale, let them lower. Palms again come to thighs or belly. Inhale, reach up and out. Exhale, lower. Inhale to reach. Exhale to lower. Give it 2 more. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale. And exhale. Last time, inhale up. And exhale down. And again, we're going to hold it here for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hands are going to stay at our knees, and we're going to offer ourselves a little shoulder stretch. So press one shoulder in and across, and then reverse. And just take that on your own, back and forth, right and left. Give it one more round each way. And we'll come all the way back up. Toes are going to swivel to the front edge of our mat, and we're going to take a warrior 2. Now your warrior 2 might have shrunken a little bit in stance this late in your pregnancy, and that is totally fine. It's going to give us a little bit more balance. And you might find that the lunge of that warrior 2 isn't quite as deep as it used to be. And again, that is totally fine. We're carrying a considerable amount of extra weight, and all of that weight is in our front body. So it's definitely going to knock us off balance. We're going to kind of mess with that center of gravity. So we want to give ourselves as much leeway as we need in our practices, especially in our standing postures. From this warrior 2, our back hand can drop to your thigh or to your belly. Front palm's going to flip and stretch up and over into that reverse warrior. Just like in our seated side body stretches earlier, we're finding all of that space through ribs, armpits, triceps, from our hip to our pinky finger. Our next breath, we're going to move through warrior 2. Hook your front elbow and rest it on that front thigh. And draw your back arm up and over your ear into extended side angle. Reach all the way through those top fingertips and find lots of length in the opposite side of our ribs. And then we're going to take these 2 postures in a flow. So inhale is going to bring us to reverse warrior. Exhale takes us extended side angle. This action might be slow and steady like the tortoise. That's okay. Really start to relish and savor this movement in your upper body and lateral body. Give it one more, back and forth. And we'll come back to our warrior two. We're going to cartwheel our arms around, frame our front foot, and step into a tabletop. From this hands and knees, palms come back to our blocks, and we find our way back to our down dog. Again, our inhale takes us to a plank. Exhale to downward dog. Do that 2 more times. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale. And exhale. From this down dog, look up to your thumbs. Walk your feet to the outside of those blocks. Stack them underneath your tush. And find that seat in our malasana. From here, we're going to take another little open twist in our malasana. So, left hand is going to come to the inside of our left ankle. Right arm's going to sweep up to the ceiling. Maybe we look up at that top thumb. And we'll reverse. Right hand to the inside of right ankle. Left fingertip sweeps up and back. We'll find our way back through center. Palms down to the earth. Lift our hips and rotate those toes forward. Find that big fold. And on our next inhale, we'll bend our knees, roll into standing. Good. We're going to take all of that on the opposite side. So set your blocks in front of your toes. Inhale sweeps us up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway, flat back. On our exhale, our fingertips plant, our right toes step all the way back. Right-handed block comes under your right shoulder and left fingertips sweep to the ceiling. Good. Keep that back leg strong and lifted. And make sure you can wiggle your front toes and wiggle your fingertips. Maybe that nose looks up to top thumb. And from here, we're going to lower down. We're going to rotate toes to the long edge of our mat. Walk your upper body and come into that wide-legged forward fold. Again, take any options you like with your hands. A good bend in your knees. And just nice and easy, we're going to gently walk palms and upper body over to the left. It doesn't take a lot of movement or a lot of shift to find that stretch in our right side body. And we'll come across to the right. And we'll let it go, come back through center. Inhale, press all the way up to standing, arms high. Exhale, hands to your heart. Again, those toes turn out on the diagonal, coming for those goddess squats. So inhale, sweep it up. Exhale, lower down. We'll hold it here for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and take our flow. Inhale to reach. Exhale to lower. Inhale to reach. Exhale to lower. Inhale to straighten. Exhale to bend. 2 more. Breathing in. Breathing out. Breathing in. Breathing out. Last time we rise. And on our exhale, we settle in. Good. Holding it here for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hands come down to thighs or knees and take that little shoulder rotation right and left. If you're here and it feels good, you can even let your hips rock side to side. Take one more breath. And we'll come back through center. We'll rise tall. Toes are going to swivel to the front edge of the mat. And we're going to find that warrior two. Now remember, your stance is ever changing throughout your pregnancy. So think about where we can find balance and centering between our legs. And if that means that our feet are on train tracks instead of a tightrope, if we've got space width-wise to line feet up on opposite sides of the mat, that is fine. We just want to make sure that that center of gravity can stay in the center, can stay between our hips, between our knees, and between our feet. From here, our back hand's going to drop to back thigh or to belly. Front palm flip, stretch up and back for reverse. Feel your breath. Notice your heart rate. And see if we can lengthen that exhale to slow down both. Finding our way to side angle, front elbow hooks, rests on that front thigh. Back arm up and over your ear. And we'll take that as a flow. Inhale, bring it up and back, reverse. Exhale, forward and over, extended side angle. We've got 4 more with our breath. Last round. And we'll come back to warrior two. And then cartwheel those hands around. Come down to a tabletop. Take blocks under your palms. Tuck your toes. Come back to your down dog. And again, we'll find our plank to down dog on our breath just for 3 rounds. Beautiful. Back in our down dog, toes are going to come a little closer to center. Left heel is going to lift high to the sky. And we're going to draw left knee to left wrist. Aim for ankle meeting right wrist so you can find a pigeon pose. Now we might need a little extra support here today, so we're going to take one of those blocks. We're going to bring it under that left hip bone, that left cheek. From here, that opposite block is going to come straight ahead. And you can either rest palms or forearms on it. Make sure that back leg is nice and long, that you're resting on top of your 5 toenails and on top of your kneecap or your patella. Notice what's happening with your jaw, your throat. See if we can soften a little bit, maybe swallowing once or twice. We're going to take 5 more full breaths right here. And every exhale, let yourself sink down a little deeper into those 2 blocks and into your mat. Good. Gently, gently, we're going to bring hands back to the earth. We're going to tuck our back toe, lift our back kneecap, scooch that block out from under our hip, and press back either to a table or straight to a down dog. Take any wiggles or shakes or shimmies that you need. We'll find our opposite side, so toes come a little closer to center. Right heel lifts, and then right knee draws to right wrist, ankle to left. We rest a block under that right hip bone as our left toes scooch back. And then we find both palms or both elbows to the block in front of us. Check on those 5 back toes. Make sure toenails can tap on the floor. Notice what's happening in your forehead, in your temples. See if you can soften those spaces. And again, allow your exhale breaths to just let you sink a little deeper for 5 more full rounds. And again, hands will come underneath us. We're going to release that block and we're going to allow our weight to drop into our right hip so that we can swing our left foot around in front of us. From here, we're going to let feet come to the mat, knees come to the ceiling. Palms can come behind us for a little support, and we're just going to take some windshield wiper twists. Letting knees rock right and left. And we'll come back to center. If it feels good for you, we can come all the way down to our spines. We will not be here long, so don't worry. If already you know that those spines are too much, you can prop up on your elbows, thumbs almost at your waistline, fingertips pointing to your tush. You can always come back to those elbows even if you start on your spine. Don't feel like you're ever married or stuck in a posture. You can adjust as you need to. But from here, we're going to take our right knee, cross it over left, like we were seated cross-legged in a chair. Again, working on a little bit of that internal rotation. And our fingertips are going to come to the ceiling, and we're going to take left elbow over right and either give yourself a great big hug or find a full eagle arm by wrapping through forearms. And find this nice contracted space for 3 big breaths. And we'll unwind our arms, unwind our legs, and reverse. So left knee over right, seated cross-legged in a chair. Right elbow over left, either for a hug or wrapping all the way around. Notice all of the parts of yourself that are touching yourself. Those wraps and nooks and crannies and creases in our thighs and our knees and our forearms and elbows and biceps and triceps. Where our hands might rest on our forehead. Where our nose might brush our wrists. Give it 2 more breaths in this reclined eagle. And we're going to unwind our arms, take a cactus position on the floor, backs of your hands resting down. Unwind your knees, take those feet as wide as the mat, and let thighs and knees drop into center for a constructive rest with our legs. You might notice your pelvis start to tip backwards, your lumbar spine pulling up and off the earth, and that is perfect and normal. And you might find that you need to scoot your toes a little bit forward or backward or widen them to find that space where you can really let go of the weight of your legs and allow them to support themselves. And again, we're going to take 3 big breaths. And we're going to gently walk our feet back to center. And we're going to come into a supported side lying Shavasana. So once our feet are back to center, we're going to gently, gently roll to our left side. We're going to take 1 block, bring it between knees or thighs. Take our other block, bring it under our head, almost like a pillow. From here, hand can rest on your belly, can come to your opposite arm. Whatever feels good and natural for you. If you'd like a blanket or to put on some cozy socks or to turn down the lights, feel free. But when you're ready, allow your eyes to close down. Allow yourself to feel heavy. I know you might be thinking that you always feel heavy right now. I completely understand. Really give yourself permission to give in to that sensation. Feel the weight of your feet, the weight of your hands, and the weight of your hips and your shoulders. And the weight of your eyes. And the weight of your belly. Without forcing or controlling or changing the rhythm of your breath, just notice its gentle movement in your belly. Maybe begin to imagine those inhales and exhales as a soft and nurturing rocking of your baby. Take in any flutters, kicks, or wriggles. Feel that connection of your two souls, your two heartbeats. Alongside the rhythm of your breath. And if you like, you're more than welcome to stay right here, resting as long as you need or want. And if you're ready, you can begin to take little movements to your fingers and to your toes. You might gently release the block from between your knees. Stretch one or both legs with one or both arms. And allow that top right hand to come right in front of your chest. And gently push yourself up into a seat. Moving slowly. Finding any seated posture that feels comfy. Again, we'll bring one hand to heart, one hand to belly. Maybe come back to that intention or offering we set at the beginning of our practice. Finding a big inhale in through our nose, releasing our jaw to sigh out our mouth. Inhale, we'll sweep fingers overhead. Exhale brings palms to touch and thumbs to our sternum. Divine light in me loves and honors the divine light in you. Namaste. Thank you, thank you, thank you for sharing your practice, your energy, and your prenatal journey with me today. I hope that you are feeling well, and I cannot wait to hear what you think about this second and third trimester flow, utilizing our blocks for a few modifications and a little bit of support. Feel free to leave a comment or send me a message so I can know how to better serve you moving forward. Again, thank you, and I hope you have a wonderful day.